Welcome to Jets Rewind. And my name is Marty Shupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I am joined by Ray Clifford in Marysville, Ohio, and Ralph Sharega up in Belmont, Massachusetts. How you guys doing on the eve of the Jets' first game?
Oh, not quite the eve.
No.
Meanwhile, we're as we're recording this, we're about an hour away from kickoff between the I guess it's the Rams and the Bills.
Yeah,
Ralph, I think you have to focus a little.
I know. I can't. This happens every time.
Well,
Maybe it's, you know what? Maybe
Yeah.
it's better if it's blurry with me.
I like it
There's
better
not
with
much to
blurry.
look at.
Yeah. All right, Ralph, you have a classic trivia question, right?
It's classic. Yeah, this goes way back.
Yes.
No, actually, it doesn't. It's very appropriate. Now, as of today, I know the roster's changing all the time, but as of today, there are 4 players on the 53-man roster who are leftovers from McCagnon's era. Can you name them?
Where's my pen?
4 of them?
Why, you think there's more or less?
I think I know one.
You better know at least one, Marty. You're running
I
a
know
Jet podcast.
2.
Mhm.
All right, I got my 2. All right, you ready?
You're halfway there.
Listen, I want to tell you guys something. I remember exactly where I was, and Ray, we're a few years older than you, when JFK was assassinated. I remember where I was when, unfortunately, when we are coming to an anniversary where the World Trade Center got hit and it collapsed. I even remember, Ralph, where I was when Bucky Dent hit that infamous home run. I will never forget, and I know where I was when I heard that Connor McDermott was brought back onto the active roster, and I was driving on the FDR Drive. I almost
You get to an accident, huh?
I almost drove off the road. I could not believe it. Ray, what was your reaction with them bringing back Connor McDermott?
I didn't necessarily understand it, but what bothered me about it was that I liked Knight, so I didn't like whose place he took. That was the main thing. But right now, with our line the way it is, I guess all the help we can get, the better, because we're struggling to keep guys on that offensive line healthy.
Yeah, and it just came across. Dwayne Brown has an injured shoulder. So here we go as we enter the season, like it seems we always do. Ralph, what was your feeling about the Connor McDermott?
Well, it's like a revolving door thing, and like Ray, I liked Knight, and I wanted to keep him. Did they pick him up on the practice
I
squad?
haven't heard anything.
I'm not sure if they did, to be honest with you. And you have to excuse me, I'm a little bit behind as far as the latest transactions. I know there were a few, and I think they picked up a tackle to the practice squad, a guy named Eric Smith, not to be confused with the Eric Smith from,
I was gonna say he'd be about 40 something now.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, here we go. This is an exciting time. The NFL is opening tonight. The Jets are opening Sunday. We're going to get to Zach Wilson, who is going to be out till game 4. We're going to give our thoughts. But before we do that, I have a few over-unders I'd like to ask you both going into this year. All right, here we go. We're going to start with Ray. Zach Wilson's, the number of games he starts in 2022. The over-under is 7.5.
Over.
Wow. Okay, Ralph.
God, I have to say over on that one. Wow, it's a 17-game schedule.
He's missing at least the first. Listen, in my mind, I'm so down on this whole thing. He's turning into the new D. Milliner, injured in college, injured his rookie year, injured now. I'm just about had it, but we're going to talk about that in a second. I would go under on that, and I'm writing this down. Ray always likes me to write it down because he doesn't like the way I throw out predictions. And I'm not.
Oh, you just forget to bring him back up after you, unless you're right.
Ray, why am I different than any politician?
No,
I'm not accountable.
Or any sportscaster who predicts.
All right, Ralph. Zach Wilson, 300 plus yards passing this year. Over under is 3.5.
What do you mean, 3.5 games he'll do that
Yeah.
in? Wow, that's a tough one. I'll say under.
Wow. Okay, Ray.
I'm gonna go under as well. I think we got the weapons to do it. I'm not sure we'll have the offensive line to do it.
Right. I'm going under 2. The next one was 2 guys on the defensive line, a number of sacks, but I'm going to first change it around, and it's going to be one or the other. Ray, who's going to have more sacks, Queenan Williams or Lawson? Carl Lawson.
Are we
And-
assuming that they're both gonna stay injury free?
Well, you really have
Well,
to.
yeah. Without taking injuries into account, Lawson.
Okay, Ralph.
Marty, I knew you were going to ask that question. It's so funny. I just thought about it before, and I decided on Quinn Williams because I watched Carl Lawson, the few snaps that he had, and he's very effective. But he's a power rusher, and he doesn't go around the edge that much. But he pushes his guy into the quarterback and moves him off his mark. So I think he's more of that type of disruptor than a sacker. I hope he does get a lot of sacks, but I'll say Quinn Williams.
Okay, I'm going to say Queenan Williams too. I think he's going to have a great season.
We've been saying that for 3 years, by the way, Quinn Williams.
Ralph, if you don't mind, I'm going to start again with Ray because this is like part of his DNA, and then I'll go to you twice. Garrett Wilson receptions over under 49.5.
Wow, that's a crowded wide receiver room.
Well, 49.5. Think about it. Divided by 17.
I know, but we have a lot of weapons for the kind of offense we run. But I'll say over. I don't think he's going to start out as fast as he'll end. I think he'll end up getting a lot in the last half of the season.
Ralph?
Yeah, I'd say over.
I'm going to say over too, and I hope this guy gets on the field right away. I really do. We need him. I was going to get into the Baltimore, their defense. Their safeties are excellent, but their corners are not that great. And we got to go in there, I think, passing. That's my feeling. Okay. All right, we're going to go to Ralph. Interceptions by Sauce Gardner, 3.5.
I'm going to say under because I think they probably won't throw at him.
That's what I'm going to say too. Ray?
Yeah, I'm going to go under. I don't think interceptions, aren't just about, how many times they throw there, but it's going to be, opportunities as far as, who he's covering and things like that. I think they're going to, he'll have opportunities, but 3.5 is actually quite a few for a DB in his rookie year.
Yeah, while we're talking about him, as usual, I'm jumping around. Besides Lamar Jackson, the biggest weapon they have is their tight end, Mark Andrews, who's just outstanding. Last year, he had 107 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 9 TDs. I want each of yours opinion. Sauce Gardner is a tall guy with long hands. Ralph, what would your feeling be if they put Sauce Gardner on Mark Andrews?
They're not going to do it, and I don't think they should. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ray?
As far as that, I wouldn't put him on the tight end. I mean, I'm not sold that our other DBs can handle whoever their number one is. I'm not even sure who their number one is anymore. But
I guess it's Bateman.
Oh, yeah, Rashawn Bateman from Minnesota. Yeah.
I'd stay on him. I don't want him having a breakout game against us. So
he's talented.
I would do it, and I'm going to tell you why. My feeling is, and I go by the Bill Belichick school, you want to stop the strength of your other team. You want to define what's that strength, and you want to shut it down and make them adjust their game plan. To me, Mark Andrews is by far the best weapon. And even though he's a rookie, I think he's the real deal. I would just glue him on Mark Andrews. Now, he could get caught on picks because Andrews does a lot of crosses over the middle, and it could be a lot for a rookie. But that's what I would do. I would put him right on Mark Andrews.
Rookie in his first game, Marty, to do something like that, I just can't see it.
Ralph, I think he's different. I think he's a special type.
I think he's different too, but he still has to prove it for a game or two at least.
Okay, all right, we'll move on. Okay, here we go. Jets losses by 20 or more points, and the over/under is 3.5 games.
Who's going?
Ralph.
Oh, just losses, but you come up with some tough ones, Marty. 3.5 games. That means I have to do 4. I'll say under.
Ray.
Yeah, I think our defense is improved enough that we can stay under that. I think we'll have a couple of stinkers that there might, but we got a tough schedule this year, so I think they'll stay under though.
I'm going to say under 2. All right, we got like 4 more quick questions. Over/under, Brees Hall rushing 899 yards. Ray.
This year, I think under.
Ralph.
I think under 2, not because of him, because of the offensive line.
Yeah,
I agree. I think under. Ralph, what tight end on the team will have the most receptions?
Definitely conflict. Yeah.
Okay, Ray.
Yeah, Conklin.
I agree.
They seem to like him in the passing game, so I think he'll be focused on.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then I'm going to do a shout out. Actually, Ray's going to do a shout out, but anyway, next one, you're going to love this one, Ralph. Yes or no? Does Quincy Williams have a personal foul penalty in the first game?
No.
Right?
I'm a big fan of his.
Boy, it's the Ravens, and that's always one where you wonder. But I'm going to say he's gonna keep his cool and say no.
I'm going to say he has 1 penalty, one either roughing, late hit, or something. So, all right, last question, Ray. What defensive player in the Jets gets the team's first interception?
Whitehead.
Okay, Ralph.
Could be anyone. I'll say Gardner.
I'm going to say C.J. Mosley. All right, let's move on. And listen, before we go, I just want to do a shout out. We had heard from a huge Jet fan out near Ray. His name is Mark Levins. And I just want to make an announcement that if anyone is within like 100, 200 miles of, I guess it's Hilliard, Ohio, Ray?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a David and Buster's that the Jet fans are going to take over that restaurant and bar. And there's going to be a celebrity guest going to that where you'll be able to take pictures. Ray Clifford is going to attend that. David
You want people to show up, not keep away.
So anyone in the Ohio, Northern Kentucky area, Southern Canada, David and Buster's at Hilliard, Ohio for the New York Jets football game. You get to meet Ray Clifford in person. He will sign autographs. Okay. And I want to thank Mark Levins for reaching out to me. It took me about a year to get back to him, but he's a heck of a good guy. And he's an unbelievable Jet fan.
Okay, Marty, real quick.
Go ahead, Ray.
It's Mac Levins.
Oh, Mac Levins. What did I say?
Mark.
Mac Levins. I'm sorry, Mac Levins. I you know how much I love Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Mac. Okay, Mac Levins. Okay, David and Buster's, Hilliard, Ohio, Sunday, 1:00 for the New York Jets against the Baltimore Ravens. All right, Ralph, what are your thoughts about this Zach Wilson getting injured again?
Well, I mean, the injury was like 3 weeks ago. I mean, first of all, it was a non-contact injury, and part of it was a bruise to his knee. How do you get a bruise in your knee when you have a non-contact injury? I was just curious about that.
He hit the turf.
He hit the turf. He hit the turf every time every play.
I think he might have jammed his knee when he made that move. That might be with the bruise.
Anyway, I mean, I don't want to see him get injured or anyone get injured, but I think in some ways it's a blessing. You know, there's a lot of pressure this year on Douglas, Salah, and Wilson, and I think for a few games, I think it's kind of a win-win. And that if Flacco is terrible, he'll come back and he won't have quite as much pressure. If Flacco's good, well, that's another question we have to talk about. But you know, let him sit. There's nothing wrong with sitting. Some great quarterbacks have sat for a while, and I don't think there's any rush. You know, and he's 23; he'll get his chance. So I'm okay with it. You know,
Ralph, you had mentioned, and I want to get Ray's opinion, but you had mentioned something a couple of weeks ago. It could have been the last show that we were going through the weakest spot on the roster, and you said quarterbacks, the quarterback room.
yeah.
I agree. I have no confidence in the quarterbacks. I go by the eye test and what I see, and I understand. And I was a supporter of Zach Wilson in the last 4 or 5 games. He had no one to throw to, and he looked much better. But they're just not showing me anything where I could give them a lot of confidence. I'm sorry. Right now,
Well, I think part of it's the O-line. I think the O-line was terrible in preseason. They didn't give one hole for a running game, and the quarterbacks were on the run. If that's the way, that's the level of play for them this year. Yeah, I don't think the quarterbacks are going to be that good. We all agree that offensive line is the most important unit on a football team in this day and age, and they got to be better than they were in the preseason.
Ray, what's your take on the Zach Wilson being out till game 4?
Well, obviously it's disappointing, but I don't think it's the end of the line or anything. I think no matter who was at quarterback, this first month was going to be a rough one. The whole AFC North is pretty tough. So maybe like Ralph said, if especially if Flacco struggles, then I think he'll be much more energized to come in like that than to go in with the pressure of having to make up for last year. Although, all signs would point to that he was working hard and looked good and everything in the practices. So I wanted to see him, but I don't have high expectations as far as like you, Marty. You want playoffs. I want improvement. So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm hoping he's if it is 4 games or 3 games and he's in game 4, he's going to have plenty of season to show that he's improved, and that's what I want to see. And I'll be happy if he looks like he's taken a pretty good step forward.
Ralph, he's referring to me because I put down a mandate. I'm so tired. I want to get in the playoffs. I mean, I'm so tired of waiting for this rebuild or whatever, but it's just I want to get to the playoffs. I just want to get there. Who's that? The quarterback I love, Anthony Richardson. I don't want to go
Mac Jones.
I don't want to go in a quarterback watch the end of September, start looking at the draft.
Marty, it doesn't matter. He's going to have 3 years minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave Darnold 3, and they wanted to keep him. Some of the coaching staff. He's going to get 3 years. They're not drafting a quarterback this year. I know every Jet fan. First it was Bryce Young, then it's C.J. Stroud. Now it's going to be Anthony Richardson or whoever else. There's a bunch of other guys.
Anthony Richardson.
What's his name? Deion Sanders kid. It's not going to happen this year. You can't keep turning it over. You got to build the offensive line. Build the offensive line, and the game will come.
You guys, I'm going to make a prediction. I know this is out of left field.
I'm writing it down.
Watch this quarterback for the Houston Texans, Davis Mills. He's going to eventually be a great quarterback. You watch.
Great?
Yes, he will be a great quarterback. He's going to be way ahead of Zach Wilson. All right, here we go. Give me one player on offense and one on defense with the best chance to make the Pro Bowl. Ralph, why don't you start, and will you give offense first?
Go with Elijah Vera Tucker on offense. Should I do defense or let Ray do it?
No, let Ray go.
All right.
Offense,
Yeah.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah. I'm going with Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is, he's a budding superstar, combination of speed, moves, and a route running. As long as the only question is, can he stay on the field? All right, Ray, defense. What defense player you think has the best chance to make the Pro Bowl? I know Ray and I are going to pick the same guy.
Well, probably not, but maybe. I think you guys are right that Williams is going to have a bit of a breakout year, and I think it's going to have to do with
Queen and Williams.
Yeah, Quincy's not making the Pro Bowl. Although
Right.
He's still, I like Quincy, so I'm okay with him getting an occasional penalty for doing something that dumb as long as he keeps playing hard. But Quinnen, I think, is going to benefit as long as Austin stays on the field, and I do think he'll have a breakout year.
Okay, Ralph.
I hope I don't steal your guy, Marty, but I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner.
Okay. Peter King actually picked him for the Defensive Rookie of the Year, which is interesting. I'm going to go with Quinnen Williams, and I'm going to go with Ray Clifford's theory that with all our pass rushing defensive end, it's going to open it up for this guy, and he's going to shine.
And we've just been saying this about this guy for 3 years now.
I know.
But he hasn't really ever had the guy.
He's good. He's good, but I think that's what he is.
It's not like he stinks, though, Ralph.
No, he doesn't think he's good, but I think after 3 years, that's probably what he is, though, as a good football player.
And I'll be honest with you, we don't have a long line of – we have a long list of defensive linemen, but they put together this defensive line, especially with the ends, as pass rushers, not as run stoppers, and he's a very good run stopper.
Well, he better be, because they don't have anyone else there.
All right, here we go. So moving along right now, and Ralph had asked the trivia question, but let's go right to the prediction of the Jets record for 2022. Ralph, why don't you start?
Well, I have been drinking the Kool-Aid for this team for the last few years. And the minute I watch their first game, you can see they don't have it. I'm sick of doing that. I was not impressed with their offensive line. So I'm going to go 6-11.
Wow. Ray, you writing this down?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Ralph, 6-11. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, I'm right there with Ralph. I have 6-11 too, although I wrote down I'm hoping for 8. Now, of course, I did this
17-0.
No, I mean, I'm trying to be right. I'm not right. I wrote down, I did this last week because I thought we were going to might be doing it before. So this was pre-injury to
Dwayne Brown. That's 2 games.
6-11, but I marked down 4 games that I thought we might be able to pull out. So I was hoping for 8 and 9. 4 games that we might win a couple of those, not 4 games that we would win, but that were iffy. But I'm 6-11.
I'm going 8 and 9.
That's
Mr. Optimism. I am just everything with Robert Saleh, and that he played this whole thing wrong with the fans and the press and the media with the Zach Wilson. I want this guy to succeed. I want him to succeed. The only other coach I wanted to succeed just as much was Herm Edwards. I really wanted him to be a great coach. And I'm hoping that it comes together, and I hope that these players play hard. There's a lot of questions, and I'm telling you, they could win that game Sunday.
Of course they could.
It's a real possibility.
Of course they could. That team's coming off a mediocre year.
Right.
They can't let Jackson run out wild. They've got to keep him kind of in the pot. I mean, he's going to get some plays, but they just can't let him kill him.
Well, what they have to do is they have to stay in their lanes. If they start trying to get him one-on-one, they're not going to do it. And if he gets to the outside, forget it. And if it's any time it's 3rd and 5 or less, I don't know if I had Quincy Williams on the field. The way that guy over pursues and goes past the play, I'd rather have Jamie Sherwood. I think he has a lot better football IQ, and he's a better tackler. And look, I'm not taking a lot away from Quincy Williams. This guy, if he can control himself, he's got a chance to be really good.
Yeah.
But it's like game after game, he does some stupid things, and
He
it's
just wants to make that big hit. That's what he's just used to going for that and getting everybody fired up. But if you do it, if you miss like he did against the Eagles or whatever, then it
all right. As tonight, as the NFL opens, we're going to each give our predictions. Who's going to end up in the Super Bowl? And I'm going to go first. I think it's going to be the Packers and the Chargers.
That's
It's so funny. And
exactly who I'm going to pick.
the Packers are going to win. So that's
Well, I
my
don't know.
pick. Okay. All right, Ralph, go ahead. You.
I the Packers and the Chargers. I feel like with the Packers, it's the law of averages. They've got to get there sooner or later. They have the best record every year in the conference. And the Chargers, they're loading up, and they got a good young quarterback. So I knew you were. I wanted to go first because I knew you were going to pick San Diego too.
It's Los Angeles to me. It's amazing how we
Los Angeles, yeah.
Ray, who do you like?
Well, since you guys both took one of my teams, I'm not going to go with the Chargers anymore.
My goodness, we all went for the Chargers. That's all right.
Well, I just think the Bills are getting so much hype.
I know there's a lot of pressure on them.
But I'll go ahead and go with the Bills, and then I really didn't think about it because the Packers always blow it, and I'm not sold that this time that Rodgers can save their receiving core like other years. So and the hard part is the other team I was thinking of was San Fran, but I'm not sold on Trey Lance yet. He hasn't
No
proven.
way.
They're not getting. They're lucky. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't. I'm sorry, I just don't.
I think they can, but I think they're going to make the playoffs because either he's going to get hurt or they're just going to go, okay, you need some more seasoning, and they're going to put in Garoppolo, and he's going to save the day.
Right.
Get him in there.
Quickly, go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
But I'll take the Chargers and the Niners, but I think it's going to be the Chargers if they do get there. The Bills and the Niners. I think the Bills would beat pretty much anybody from the NFC.
Right. Before we get back to the trivia question, close this out, I want to touch on one thing. Do you have anything else, guys, before we go on?
No, I'm spent.
Okay. I just want to know, any of you guys have any opinion on anyone that stood out as far as college football? If you caught any of the games or highlights? Ray?
It's too early. I know you like Anthony Richardson, but
Anthony Richardson.
Total. I mean, nobody. I mean, I watched the Notre Dame Ohio State game, and that was the only one of the big boys that I really paid attention to. And that just didn't. I mean, the tight end on Notre Dame looked pretty good, but we don't need another.
no,
tight end,
we don't need more tight ends.
Other than that, I wasn't. I like the running back. The one running back on Ohio State, Travion Henderson, but we'll see what he does as the year goes along. He's been pretty steady. I like him.
Yeah. Now, I of course, I'm terrible with names, but a couple of guys just to watch out. There's a center for the University of Minnesota. He's 320 pounds, but you got to see this guy pull. And I think they rolled over some lousy team, New Mexico State. Keep an eye on him. Also, there's a player on Florida State. He had 2 sacks, Ralph, and he blocked the punt.
Did he block the extra point?
No, but interestingly, you'll love this, and Ray's going to love something too. I forgot his name, but this guy transferred from Albany, upstate New York. And Ray, he's from Dayton, Ohio. Which
Really?
I found very, very interesting. I wish I could remember his name. The other thing I want to mention, Ralph, are you familiar with this Feldman's Freaks, this list?
No.
This guy Feldman every year puts out a list of athletic freaks in college football. And I was looking through it. It's very, very interesting, these guys. Not necessarily be first-round picks or make it, but just like athletic freaks. There's a receiver on Princeton who's like an Olympic runner. He's 6'3". The guy is supposed to be one of the most incredible athletes to ever go to an Ivy League. I can't even pronounce his name. So we'll get into that towards the end of the year. But Ralph,
is Ashton Davis on that list?
He's not on that list, no. Ashton Davis. All right, Ralph, let's return to the trivia question.
Yeah. as of this moment, at least the last I checked, there are 4 players left over from McCagnon's era on the Jet roster. Can you name them? And who was the longest tenured?
I only got 2. Ray, you want to go first? You're better than me at this trivia.
No, I've been racking up. Now, I don't know who our long snapper is, so if he's one of them, like, huh?
Hennessy.
Okay.
Yeah, Hennessy. He's the longest tenured.
That's the one that they never get.
2017. That just shows you how he's flipped the roster. Yeah, go on.
Shepard
That's right.
and Mosley.
Yes.
No, not.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Oh, that's right. He did sign Mosley.
Yeah, Mosley.
So there are 5.
There are 5. Wow, I forgot
Okay,
about
Marty, you get
Mosley.
the other 2.
I have Queen and Williams.
Quinn and Williams. And the last one is interesting because he was actually signed by McCagnon. He got cut when and then Joe Douglas that September brought him back on the team. God knows why,
Oh, I
but
know who. Is it Cager?
no, not Cager.
Okay, go ahead. Who
Jeff
is Jeff Smith?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How does it? It's like the cat came back.
I was gonna
you know?
say this guy has like doesn't have 9 lives. He's got like 36 lives. I never saw anything like it.
I believe I forgot Quinn and Williams.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. All right, we're gonna close this out. Listen, Jet fans, again, Mac Levins will be at the David and Buster's with at least 50 or 60 Jet fans in Hilliard, Ohio. Ray Clifford is going to make a cameo appearance.
Jet fans in
You're going to have the time of your life. In fact, Ralph and I were thinking of taking a bicycle out there. But you really, if you're in the area, stop by. It's going to be a great afternoon. And listen, the Jets have a very good chance to win. Forget about the spread and everything else. Their talent level has definitely increased from last year. So for Ray Clifford, Ralph Schrager, and Marty Shupak, until next time,